Super Smash Bros. Melee is the best esport in the universe, but that's only half of what's so good about it. Today I want to not only talk about Melee and what about it is so good as a competitive fighting game, but to completely look at the entire package that launched in 2001 for the Nintendo GameCube. At the core of the Smash franchise stand the character roster, and considering the last entry had 12 characters from 9 franchises, the jump was outstanding. 25 varied characters from 12 franchises, including very wild picks like Ice Climbers and Mr. Game & Watch. Which remains the reason the general public still even knows about some of them. Like, I don't think anything would have remained of Mr. Game & Watch in the current future if it weren't for Smash Bros. And all the characters no longer look like a polygonal mess like in 64, they're polished, they often look higher in quality than what the original form looked like at the time, and one of the coolest parts was the color customizations. You really feel a connection to your favorite color of a character, whether you like a simple swapped Mario or the total Daisy out for Peach. They all feel like a change more than you'd expect, and it's a surprisingly lovable part of selecting characters. And they still look phenomenal to this date and feel great to play as well. Melee added side specials, down throws, up throws, grab pummels, and maybe the biggest game changer of the controls, the directional air dodge, which we'll come back to when covering the hidden depth of Melee. So every character feels odd to control. I'll say it, when you pick up the game for the first time, the game will feel weird to control, especially in, for example, the single player sections, which we will come back to later. One of the bigger things I felt odd about, even now that I'm very used to it, I feel like I haven't fully grasped running and smash attacks together. Like Sakurai's previous work on the Kirby franchise, which greatly influenced Smash, more on that on Relax's video on the subject, double tapping the control stick you use to move will start running. Now, your character can no longer perform smash or tilt attacks, which, if you don't know, are performed by quickly tapping the control stick and the A button, or a direction on the C stick to execute a special attack. Tilts are the same, but can be charged by holding the direction after leaving A. I find myself having a rough mind switching between the two, running and smash attacks. I always want to dash, but it's rough to stop dashing to input my better moves. I'm kind of locked to specials, a grab, and a dash attack when running, and those are usually more predictable by the enemy. Also, tap jumping is going to do you dirty when you start playing. But please, don't turn it off in future games where that's an option if you don't like it here. Try to adapt. I personally use it more often than the jump button nowadays. It's super useful and flows very well somehow. It's just how you want a character to move in a semi-3D space. Like, you know, characters are supposed to move where you point the stick, so tap jump kind of works with that mindset, but you don't really expect it. I found myself also not really good at rolling or shielding. One of the biggest issues was that I was using a Pro Controller for the game. Sorry, no GameCube controller yet, so leave the video if that bums you out or whatever, I don't know. But the game felt great with it, but it did come at a cost of analog triggers, which in this game affect your shield you have up. I was not able to use the light shield properly and quickly due to always having to pull the strong, quickly destructible shield. Maybe that's a specific problem I faced due to the controller, but I did still struggle to get used to shielding at the right time, even when I knew I was about to face a hit, and I'm still not very good at that. Another aspect of shielding I want to mention is, well, how it actually works. With every hit and over time, your shield will slowly decrease in its radius, and both variants mentioned the light and heavy shield. It's not just a defense mode button, it's actually a physical shield. If it gets too small and your body hitbox is outside its range and an attack collides with you first, you still get hit. A trick to handle this while your shield is low, you may be being spammed from many sources, is shield tilting or panning. Carefully moving the control stick just a bit without fully pulling it, which would result in a roll, will instead slightly tilt your shield and the character's head in the inputted direction, allowing you one last resort. And when that shield pops, I think the defensive play in Melee is handled exceptionally well by the developers, while the game is still always pushing that aggressive, combat-seeking competitive edge. And I think this is the perfect time for me to talk about the competitive scene of Super Smash Bros. Melee. If you want a more general, more well-done cover of how approachable this competitive scene is, make sure to watch Things of Beauty, Smash as a Spectator Sport, which will be linked at the end of this video as well as every other video I will mention. To me, Smash existed first as, well, etiquette reaction videos. That was my first time actually seeing anything about the game. I owned a copy of Brawl, but I hated my Wii, so I never tried it. That's a topic for another day. fast forward to now a few years since kind of knowing the lead up to Smash 4, and I start trying to watch some Melee tournaments. I was never a big fan of fighting games, but this clicked. I love platformers, and one of my biggest gripes with traditional fighting games is the lack of mobility and restricted movement you have all the time, even with such a strong and agile looking character that you always have. So seeing these advanced movement techniques, characters getting blasted across the screen and all of what's left is their sleeping enemy, I was hooked, and the fisherman is none other than Liquid Hungrybox, the only person in the first top 8 of Melee I ever watched closely. The man mystified me. He was so reactive to everything he did, his pop-offs, his playstyle, his instant kills, he seemed untouchable. He played like a god, and soon enough I learned he actually is one. Hbox is one of the 5 gods of Melee, the others being Armada, Peach Main, Mango, an instant legend, Mewtwo King, an extremely analytical player who I might talk about later a bit, and Dr. PP. Yeah, he uses PPMD nowadays, and for someone who comes into the scene a bit late, he is the least notable of the 5 gods, as he has been in a hiatus for several years now. Hello. In the background you're now seeing footage regarding a mistake I have made. I have claimed that PPMD is least noticeable of the 5 gods of Melee. I have spent several minutes, hours, almost 2 hours, watching some videos related to Mr. PPMD as mentioned before, and holy shit, this man, it's rare to find someone who can actually combo on real people. Like usually combos, they work on bots, well, they work on standing still, but like usually people can just move away, but oh my goodness, just look at this footage.
Oh wait, freshman 40. It's okay, freshman 40.
What is the freshman 40?
It's getting a 4 stock with only less than 40%.
Okay.
This is insane.
This
oh
guy,
my god.
This guy. Are we looking at the champion?
What? You know, even more bizarre. Hacks are about. Oh my gosh.
Down tilt, mixing it up.
I think Hacks should. If there's a certain time you're gonna bring out Falcon, it's right now.
Might be the time.
Back to the video. Puff has apparently been a topic of frequent discussion in the community due to the one-hit kill move the rest, which activates the frame you input it and kills it almost every percent. The thing is, the move requires incredible precision, as if you miss its super small window of damage, you're stuck sleeping and open to attacks. I think the infinite chain grab, aka wobble, that the Ice Slammers can do, much like playing as the objectively overpowered Bayonetta and kinda OP Cloud in Smash 4, I have no respect for using any of these tricks to win. Puff just feels cool, it feels unique and like the hard approach for this game. And that's what's so admirable about Hungrybox, that even though the reason he initially started playing just because he liked resting his friends, he kept pushing the character onward onto the top tiers of Melee. Whenever there's a major Melee tournament, I take control of the living room, let nobody else on the TV and enjoy some fast-ass 4-stock games. I don't ever use the TV. Ever. I don't watch shows, movies, anything. Entertainment I usually need is my own room, so I can have this kind of once in a while night where I watch my one thing and it's a blast. Donkey said it perfectly in his Best of 2015 video.
When you kill a guy in Melee, you kill him into the moon, okay? He's not coming back. He's Moon Man now.
Every stock can be a game changer, every kill is exciting, every punish is fascinating. It's never boring to watch people play Melee. Considering most of this is because many mechanics weren't fully intended, I don't think any game will ever come close to Melee as a competitive game. Many fan games and games inspired by Smash, such as Wave Dash Studios, which are obviously trying to replicate mechanics from Melee, they're close, but because of how carefully it's crafted, it's just not the same feeling as actually discovering these things on your own and finding how broken they can technically be in a game that will never be patched. Wave dashing. To perform a wave dash, you need to directionally air dodge towards the ground with a slight angle. When you do this, preferably right after a jump input, your momentum from the dash and jump are kind of mashed into a standing slide that goes really fast for some characters. Now, the game thinks you're standing still while you're moving at quite a fast pace in reality, allowing you to grab, tilt, smash attack. Basically, yeah, fixing all problems I had with running. Some characters have better and worse wave dash lengths, so I picked the best one to practice, Luigi, because he has the longest one. Luigi is incredibly slippery and goes for a very far distance when you wave dash perfectly. I love this mechanic because it requires so many consecutive inputs when you want to do it a lot, but it rewards so well when you know what to do with it. Shine, Fox Falco, is one of the best moves in the game statistically. It's a shield, a reflector, a damage output, combo starter, finisher, breaker. Fox and Falco can jump out of it while holding out, and it comes out the frame you input it. This allows for proficient and, well, professional players to do wacky ass shit like multi-shines, shine sparks, number one. Crouch cancelling is a simpler advanced technique to avoid knockback when about to get hit. Certain characters can just hold down and will not be sent out, and can follow up with a response right after the hit's done. Dash dancing is also simple. You can change your run directions rapidly to either wave dash or just dash attack in an unexpected direction, being a simple yet effective mind game option since you can't clearly tell where one's going to stop dancing, and thanks to wave dash working in reverse when done correctly, this is one of the cooler techniques to get really good at. Pivots are techniques that need a perfect X-axis slide without going up or down at all to perform. I will never be able to do this with my Pro Controller, and dash dancing is also usually cut short by accidental tap jumps, but I do my best anyway. I started gripping my controller with the pinky over the left grip handle, and while yes, it does kind of hurt my pinky, I perform better, and that's what's most important, isn't it? This is the thing, if you want to pick up melee somehow, you need none of what I said. Besides all the super advanced and cool techniques the game allows accidentally at times, the core game is still fun as hell, but this almost infinite skill ceiling is what keeps this game alive and what I find most appealing about getting into the competitive scene. But let's step back a bit from the high octane 4-stock 5-match tournaments and talk about the sheer content of the game. If 64 was a nice All-Stars Rumble game with some guys who had plushies off playing around in Lego sets, Melee is... It's so much more. Playing with items is still a good ass time. I'm glad most people who actually play Smash and aren't just internet people don't keep the meme idea of no items, because realistically the game is much more fun and varied with items on. I see no reason not to play with them on casually. Yeah, if you want a serious one-off with a friend to see who's the very best, turn them off, obviously, they're just RNG material. But playing with items, it's just a blast. You have the green shell, the super mushroom, the warp star, food, both characters would want to chase down to recover percent, the stupid ass pokeballs, which are so cool. It's fascinating to see just how many of these are in the game. It's such a cool aspect. And the other super amped boost from 64 stages. 64 had like 10 wonky stages, all looking like a pastel drawing of what they're from, and the Melee it's like, what? You have Brimstone Depths with an entire crate in the background. You have Rainbow Ride from Mario 64 transformed into a playable 2D arena. You have On It, where cars are driving around and you can knock the signs off of the store. People often make fun of competitive Smash for having a small stage selection, but Melee has a pretty big variety even for legal stages, with my favorite of those being Yoshi's Island for its adorable cardboard aesthetics. The band stages are of equal value for casual play. Pokefloats is the most ridiculous one due to its obviously whack nature, but more tame and interesting ones are like Peach's Castle and Foresight. All these stages have such richly detailed backgrounds, the town in the back of Rainbow Ride, DDD and Bronterbird sprites flying around in Dreamland, Tingle and the dumbass turtle in Termina Bay. The sheer jump in content and uniqueness is nothing short of revolutionary. Which finally brings me to game modes, and when Smash 64 only offered Classic and Versus mode, I have the honor of talking about Adventure mode. It's okay. You go through a Mario level with pipes and Koopas, Goombas, mushrooms, and finally a flagpole. This is kind of a weird start in my opinion, due to how weird Melee's movement feels for actual platforming, especially when starting out. Just look at how odd it looks. This doesn't feel very Mario, but it's very cool, so I can forgive it. Next up is a Peach and Mario battle, and then from the DK franchise you fight a bunch of tiny DKs and then a giant Donkey Kong. Less inspired than the Mario stage, but still a unique fight. After that, you reach the underground mazes looking for the Triforce, but finding yourself in the wrong ring would start a short fight with an easy Link CPU. And along the tight corridors of the maze, you can find Zelda enemies like Octoroks and mummies. This is a really unique stage, but once again, the weird movement of Melee, which what it tries to do is stop your momentum when you're near the edge of the platform. It kind of clashes with, well, trying to platform, which platforming games, the main actions are happening on the ledges of platformers. But yeah, you do that, you get the Triforce, and after Sheik and Zelda battle, the Metroid chapter starts, and after beating a medium Samus CPU, you're ordered to escape planet Zebes. This is hell. It's a really, really cool idea and works well with most characters, but the clunky ledge and running just feels plain wrong here. I won't cover the other parts like this anymore. You go for Kirby, Star Fox, Pokemon, F-Zero, Earthbound, and the Ice Climbers, and until you reach the final levels. And among those I just glossed over, there were like 2 or 3 at best really unique platforming stages. And okay, so you face in the start of the final levels the Wireframe Squad, which is far less catchy than Polygon Fighting Team V30 when a Metal Mario or Metal Mario Bros fight, and almost finally Bowser in adventure mode at least. This is a really cool boss battle, and if you beat it on normal or harder difficulties, you get to fight Giga Bowser, which was probably a crazy cool secret when the game came out, and now it's just a really monstery evil version of the lowest tier. I'm mixed about this mode. The big new maps they made for some worlds are a super cool concept that's perfect for Smash as a crossover game, but not for Smash as a platform fighter. You see, they took the idea of changing the physics for single player to avoid this issue in Brawl, and people didn't like it. They didn't like the fact that they have 2 kind of control schemes and platform mechanics to get in their heads. To be honest, it's also a problem in Melee, because the C-stick isn't used for smash attacks and aerials in one-player mode. It's just used for the camera, which I think is plain useless. Like, not having C-stick for quick smash attacks in training it's plain dumb. It was useful for me to get footage, but that's very much besides the point. I guess a solution could be to code special ledges that don't try to halt momentum for single player, but again, I don't know. This good idea, thematically, of crossover platforming stages, it's just kind of doomed with the control method of Smash Bros. So, a mix and adventure. That's where I am. There's also event matches, which I forgot to put in the script, so forgive me while I ramble here. I think the event matches and also the All-Stars mode, which you unlock after completing all the 50 or what, 51 events? That's crazy, and the All-Stars mode are all very cool. They're basically kind of a ramp up from the like normal fights in adventure mode, but they're even a little more, they're more thematic. They have like an idea to them, a joke they're trying to deliver, which really adds to Melee's power to just keep you entertained no matter what you do. And now I think that's it. Melee is a revolutionary game that changed how future fighting games would be designed, inspired hundreds and thousands of people to become professional players of a video game, proved the power of Smash Bros. Beyond the tech demo like 64 into a timeless fountain of Nintendo history, broke worldwide barriers and brought people from around the world together, excited massive crowds, stories, childhoods, adventure, relationships, rivalries. It's a game that anyone can pick up and play forever, whenever they start until whenever they become one with the stars. The game is never done giving you joy and happiness, no matter which part of it you're playing, except maybe the Great Maze. Super Smash Bros. Melee gets a 5 out of 5, and thank you for watching. I was Boogs, love ya, bye.
I'm not lawful.